Just like that, it's Thursday night. You know what that means. It's party time with the Video Bros. I'm Bobby Munson, the man beside me. You know it. Singing along. He's the man with the angelic voice, Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes, happy Thursday. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, Munson. Happy Thursday to all the wrestling people out there.
We're going to get to those wrestling people that are in the chat, but speaking of people who have been in the chat for far too long and not on your screen along with the Video Bros, our very special guest this week on Ring Respect Radio is the voice, Joshua Joseph. A moment with Joshua Joseph and all the other things that you're a part of, we're going to be talking about throughout the show here. JJ, how are you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, Bobby Munson and the angelic voice. Smokes. How are you doing, my friend? I am so glad to be here as opposed to in the chat this time. I love it.
We appreciate both sides of the fence, of course. And speaking of the other side of the fence, that is the chat. We got our brother right there, our brunch buster brother, the Chris Parrish. How are you doing, Parrish? Glad to see you up in the chat here tonight. Thanks for coming by. And speaking of brothers, how about a video bro? The third video bro, Mr. Basser himself, right there throwing up those OLE.
How you doing?
Basser, thank you very much for being here and subscribing and all those wonderful things. How's it going, my boys? We're doing great. And Basser says, JJ, good to see you.
So, nice to see you too, Basser.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to have our some more people joining us very, very shortly. But gentlemen, before we start getting into the heart of the matter, I've got something I kind of want to play here before we get things kicked off. So myself and Carl Carafell, the gold standard from Turnbuckle Talk, Raw Watch Along, and also the recent Got the Pod Life, we had our start together on screen came in the form of a show known as Beats and Beatdowns, where we analyze the impact of music and professional wrestling. And this year, we're changing up the game. This season is going to be a little different. We're going to have extra episodes. We're going to have all sorts of topics, but we're not following A to Z catalog anymore. It's changing up. And here's the trailer for season 3 coming soon. That's going to be coming at you guys very, very soon. Right. Carl and I are getting down to recording. Can't wait to do that. As we got Terry Hauntz. Shout out to the voice. I believe this must be a new viewer up in the house here joining us because a friend of yours.
All right.
JJ.
I've known that guy since probably middle school.
Awesome. Terry, nice to meet you. Glad you were able to join us up here tonight. We're going to have a fun time. And let's get down to business. First of all, I just want to thank you again, Josh, for being the first person to ever ask me to be on another podcast. I've always had to create my podcast in order to have my voice heard previously, but you gave me that opportunity. I had a blast and happy to have you here. I want to find out more of your story. Let's go way back to the heart of when professional wrestling came into your life as a fan and where it's kind of gone from there. Let our viewers know.
Okay, well, if I'm going to go way back to when it very first started, it was, I was a young kid, single mom at the time. We were living at my grandmother's house, and I remember Hulk Hogan in the ring. And I believe I was 3. I just seen the energy that he brought to a screen, to a kid who was like, I was just running around. My mom was a waitress at a bar, so she was out at night working. And my grandma, she worked at a factory, so she would go to bed early because she had to get up at like 5 o'clock. So as a young kid, in the 80s, I had television. So when I seen this, it was just amazing to me. And then cousins of mine, I found out they loved wrestling. So every time we got together, the spare bedroom always turned into a Royal Rumble until cousin Dave took a suplex and the ceiling fan came down on him, and all the ants went nuts. And I never grew out of it. A lot of my friends did. I mean, through middle school, I had a group of friends that we were legit the 4 Horsemen. We walked around, we strutted like Flair, we flexed like Arn. We talked smack like Mr. Perfect at the time, and we had the big jock guy that was the Mongo McMichael at the time, and it was just fun for me. It never stopped being fun. And then high school hit, and I had a friend who was like, hey, I got a barn. I said, well, let me tell you something. I've always wanted to have a wrestling ring and put on a promotion, and we started a actual promotion that we called THW, Twisted Hardcore Wrestling, and it was based around ECW, all those characters. Actually, Terry Hauntz, who was in the chat, he had a character known as Bulk Bogan, And
Hogan,
yes,
nice.
he strutted around like Hulk Hogan. He was a fantastic character. But like throughout my life, wrestling introduced me to people who thought on different levels. They thought more creative about the world as it was. Maybe situations. Maybe they instead of getting into an argument at school, they started talking smack like The Rock, things like that. Those were the people who I really connected with, because to me, wrestling is a place where anybody can find a niche, no matter who you are, what background you have, what you're into today. Somebody out there you can identify with, and you can form a community with. And that's what I've absolutely loved about wrestling, and the way that technology has brought us like shows like this. I mean, I set Thursday almost every Thursday night listening to you two, interacting with you two, interacting with the community you guys built. And it's just, wrestling's so amazing in that way. It just really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll get to more in a minute, because you kind of struck a chord there saying about joining and listening in, and that's the community we built has been wonderful, and it's been a lot of work to get there and everything too, and try to build this community. Like there was times where Pop Smokes and I felt like we were talking to ourselves only when it came to doing some of our shows. Like you sit there and think you put out this wonderful material, and wow, we got 2 views, and one was me and one was Papa Smokes. So I don't know what's going on here. But as it's built, as it's developed, as we've seen Thursday nights kicking off the way they have been, it's been an honor to share this with people like yourself and, Bass or Parrish, Terry now, and anybody else who joins us, week in, week out for these conversations about professional wrestling. And it's changed so much for us over time. Like it's not been, hey, Ring Respect Radio has always been this party stream fun thing. Like we've tried so many different things over the years to find out what clicks. And we finally found that niche that you speak so much of in that conversation. We found it and it worked out. So it's cool. And we thank you and everybody else. But Papa Smokes, I'm going to send this over to your way. I know you're always loaded with the best questions, but.
Well, I don't really have a question. I was just thinking about how it was brought up about wrestling community too. And that's totally a thing. We've seen that online and then with the podcast and then with the local shows too with PPW, because you remember, Munson, we first started announcing for High Impact Wrestling some years ago.
I remember.
The community, it had just been running for a long time. It was nobody's fault. It was just running out of gas a little bit. And the community started to feel a bit fractured. Like the fans were still having fun at the shows, but it was just some of them were getting canceled and no one knew what was going on. Now they kind of started fighting in amongst themselves, and some things were said, and it was just like, yeah, you know what? We just need a product. Like we need to all watch some stuff and all laugh together again, because that's what brought us here in the first place. And you and I, Munson, have tried, along with all the other great talent around here, to foster kind of a community, get to know some of the people, have a beer with the fans, have a smoke with the fans, all the rest of that, and make some connections between the talent and the fans that come and the staff that work and everything else. It's a great feeling when you can feel the warmth around you all the time at some of those shows.
It really is. This is becoming the most sentimental episode of Ring Respect Radio ever already. I mean, we did name it appropriately an epic Broment with Joshua Joseph. So,
Well, perfect.
And that's what I love about wrestling. It's and that's why I titled my show "A Moment with Joshua Joseph," because it's, all the world is moments. And if I'm talking to you two like right now, this is a moment we're capturing. It's, there could be funny things in it, there could be sentimental things in it, but it's a moment. No matter what the outcome is, it's a moment, and I love that about it. I mean, like the just continuing the story of me, once I did all that stuff, I got involved with life and work and kids and providing for them. So I fell out of wrestling, but then HCW, I got a hold of them. I told them, I'm a podcaster. I'm coming to your big event. I'm setting up. You can kick me out. You can have me, but I'm going to be at your event and I'm going to do this. And the reception I got from them was it changed my whole viewing of what a wrestling backstage is, what these guys are. And it brought me to a level to where they're just like me. They're nerds. They love this stuff. They were coming over to my stand and just in the middle of the show and just talking crap to me. And I'm like, oh my God, this is what I've missed my entire life. And, now I went on and I've had 3 podcasts. I work with a great production company right now, In Your House, brought on by Hollywood House. He's the director. This man is a brilliant mind in wrestling. And right there with him is my dear friend, Hypocrisy Jones. That man brought me into this In Your House, and I'm so grateful to be in a group that accepts me for me and understands that my point of view is valid, and it may not be right for whatever segment we're doing, but it's heard. And I believe both of you understand that from the positions you hold in the business.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I've told you this before. Like, you and I are like 2 peas in a pod when it comes to our direction into professional wrestling in any capacity as well too. Like, again, coming from the side of, I'm writing articles, I'm starting a little podcast, and I reach out to local wrestling. Hey, can I write about your guys' promotion? Can I do this? Yeah, no problem. And you start to get to know people, get to them realizing the capabilities of what you can do. Hey, can you do video production? Yeah, I can do video production. So let's test this out and see where it goes, kind of thing, and just build it from there. It's been, it's been a labor of love, but it's been fantastic over the last 7 years. And I think we share that same sentiment about how we've developed and how we've gotten into this thing. And, now you're on screen with the boys there In Your House, HOWSE, because that W for work. Let's talk a little bit more about that show. Plug the show. Let people know how they can go and follow, subscribe, and stuff like that. But just tell us a little bit about your partners on it and how the show comes about, what you guys do.
Well, it started years ago with Hollywood. He has a drive where he wants to be a part of the business, no matter how. He just wants to be a part of it, and he's cut out a niche in this community that a post on Facebook for us, it reaches up to 36 million people. Nice. So I mean, like, that's a big reach, and that's just huge. Talking Facebook. We have a close to about a 50,000 following on Facebook. So when we say something, usually you'll see the posts are by Jushin Incredible. That dude is a wizard behind a keyboard. You give him an idea, like the picture you showed for me, the voice. So I was sitting around one day and I'm like, I'm in this pond with these guys of In Your House, and I have Sam Knight, the Conqueror. I mean, this dude in a ring is a phenom. Like, he's huge. He's got that presence about him. You don't want to mess with him. You have Paragon. I mean, oh my God, you put Paragon in a ring and all the flips and power moves he's going to do. If you're with your grandparents, you might want to get them checked because they might have a heart attack, because this dude is just amazing in the ring. And go check these guys out. They're you can find them on Facebook. You can find them on YouTube. You can find them on In Your House. I mean, if you go to our Facebook and you drop something in there and you tag one of those guys, you're about 90% sure they're going to hit you back with something. And House took it, and he knew what he wanted, but he had to go throughout his career and connect all these dots to make it the picture that he was envisioning in his head. And in today, you have Hypocrisy Jones, like I was saying. That guy, he understands what's entertaining about wrestling, and his point of view sometimes comes off as a little harsh, but once you actually sit back and you listen to what he's saying and see kind of what he's saying, you kind of go, oh, okay, I see what he's saying. It's not that bad. Okay, let's get back to it. But I mean, he's been a manager of Chris Owens, the Alpha Athlete.
Nice.
Chris Owens is a beast in the ring. I wish he was in the ring more. I know OVW, he broke his arm, I believe it was 2 years ago, and I really haven't seen him in a ring since. I do talk to him and follow him. He's doing good. So if you have any Chris Owens fans out there, Chris Owens is doing good. But we typically go live on Tuesday mornings. We didn't this Tuesday because we had a super show on Sunday, which that consists of just who's ever available on Sunday to get on to the podcast. And we talk about whatever subjects we were talking about in the chat, the group chat. So like this time we talked about what if the WWE wrestling as a whole unionized? Is that a good or a bad thing? So we broke it down, and we had a Paragon. He's got a mind that when we discuss this stuff, it's very straightforward and have an opinion. But at the end of the day, the dude does this for a living and has done this and makes a living at it. So you might want to listen to some of the things he says, you know, because it's coming from a place of knowledge. It's not coming from a place of arrogance, which I feel that you find that somewhat in the indie scene a lot. More so with the fans, I would say. They're more like, we know directly. And it's like, well, were you there? Because if you weren't there, I don't know if you can really say that you know directly what happened. And you find that a lot when in comments. I mean, I'm pretty sure you two have run across that too.
Oh, I have no idea what you're speaking about. For the protection of everybody involved, I have no idea. But before we go into our next to the next things, we actually have a question coming in from Devin Dowling, representing the Kickout crew. Devin, thanks for joining us here, Ring Respect Radio. Big shout out to you. And it said just interviewed Rolando Perez from the NWA. Have you ever been in the ring with him or know him at all? He works a lot with Southern promotions like New South. That'd be that's for you, JJ, on that one.
No, I don't. I do not. I would say where you're gonna find the wrestlers I know are more northern Indiana, Illinois, Michigan. I do have a lot of connections with Iowa out at Madhouse. Bryce Jordan. Fantastic feature in the ring. That kid's gonna go so far. He's with the Shanky is a bad man, and you don't want to mess with him. And when you mess with Bryce Jordan, you mess with the Shank, and I feel sorry for you after that. But that's actually a destination spot for me as Madhouse Wrestling. I would love to go out there.
Papa Smokes, any chance you're familiar with Rolando Perez yourself? Or I know I'm not for sure. But
No, I'm not. I'd be interested though. And but I just got to say, after that last segment, the Shank or Shanky is just about the coolest name for a wrestler I've heard in a long time. Sounds very tough too.
Outside of your personal favorite El Asesino there, right, Papa Smokes?
Yeah, I picture him as similar.
Yeah.
I'll send you some of his stuff.
Perfect.
For
Devin
sure.
Dowling saying, reach out to Cody James with NFW and come up to New York, Jersey sometime. I'd love to see you live. There you go. Invite out there for you. I mean, Yeah,
Well, if
I
they
don't
got
know.
a table and a microphone, I'll sit out there and commentate. That's another thing I do. I do commentary for GLWA, HCW, anybody who'll have me. I love that aspect of this profession too.
Now, do you do that in a live setting, or do you do that as like a pre-recorded audio after the matches have been recorded?
I have done that during the pandemic times. I did a lot more of the get clips sent to me and do that from my studio, which that's where I'm at right now. But I love doing it live. I just the to me the energy of the fans also give me something, and plus at the moment when I'm sitting there doing commentary live at the show, um, I feel like I'm part of the picture being painted, and my words are giving it more color, more definition here, more excitement here, you know. So to me that's my little cheap thrill in life. I get to act like I'm part of the actual show in that way. So
and we get that for sure. We
yeah,
get that because
it's fun.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, it so is. I mean, in fact, even before we went live today, we recorded another Prairie Pro Wrestling match prior to this.
Awesome.
And, you know, it's fantastic because, again, like the nice thing about Prairie Pro so far for us is we've been mixing it up. We bring in different talent all the time and try to make it fresh. We've had a couple of recent graduates who are kicking some ass and getting their first matchups in, and we get to be a part of that experience too. Like, you know, we were the first ones to have the opportunity to call these young guys matches. And who knows? Maybe something will happen from there. Like Basser coming in saying Riley Cruz being one of them. Mm-hmm. And that Morris Waltz, we just called a Morris Waltz match today. And damn, man, like
there's something there, isn't there?
There really is. Like, I mean, you add some more years experience to either one of those boys and a little bit more oomph in their physique and stuff like that. They are gonna stand out like a sore thumb. Both of them, they get the process, and it's gonna build there. So.
That to me is like being a kid of, you know, there was three other my brothers and sisters, and when you're the kid who gets the treat in the cereal box, that, you know, and you get that's yours. That's like when you find a wrestler with that starting out and you're like, you know, if he would just put a little muscle here, or he would do this a little different, and then you see it, oh my God, that is the most satisfying thing in this industry from my aspect of what I get to do.
Yeah. Devin's got a cool question here that I think can actually pertain to all three of us. So we'll start with you on this one, Josh. Pop Smokes, if you want to go second on this one, and I'll round it out. Devin's asking, who are some of the commentators you've modeled your work after or taken little things from? Josh, let us know.
I'm going to be direct, and who I model the voice when I'm in character is after Joey Styles and Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Nice.
Those are two guys that they honestly give the extra bit to what I want to do, and so I take from them a lot too. Like, oh my Gods from Joey Styles, or the way Joey he would puff up his chest a little bit in the interview, but he knew whoever he was talking to was going to smack the ever living crap out of him if they get the chance. And Bobby was just Bobby. You got to love him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, how could you be as funny as Bobby ever? He's so awesome.
No, impossible. Papa Smokes, yourself?
Yeah, I go old school with that too. I like Gordon Soley a whole bunch because he was like a real sports commentator, and I have always tried to keep it real sounding, like it's as a match, as a competition between two guys. But as far as working, like we used to kind of take heel and face personas when we used to do commentary. So again, back to the original heel commentator, Jesse, always good knowledge and stuff like that, but had a couple barbs ready and a couple of funny jokes. Perfect.
Yeah, and I grew up, like, obviously originally a WWF guy, so early days I was hearing Jesse Bobby Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon, even, until like, of course, like when we got into commentary, Bob Smokes, they wanted us, the direction we were given is like, one's a heel, one's a baby face on commentary. Yeah. So they're like, kind of think King and JR, but we weren't King and JR. We weren't cracking jokes or anything. But I mean, I'd be lying if some JR influence isn't in what I do, because the man's a legend at it.
Yeah.
But more recently, and Bob Smokes will know this, in the meantime and in between time, I've taken up the catchphrase of the famous Stampede Wrestling announcer, Ed Whalen. So that's where I'm going to go for a more modern take on what I've been doing. Well, and your voice is similar to Jesse too. That's not the first time we've heard that.
That was the first comment I ever said to Papa Smokes.
Yeah. I take it as a compliment.
Oh, you should.
Terry said JJ is like a modern day Corey Graves.
See, you guys got to get somebody in here to monitor these trolls coming in, known as Terry Haunts. He knows that I am not a Corey Graves fan at all, and this is absurdity.
That's almost as good as when last week I was telling everybody about Papa Smokes and his fandom for Boy Meets World. I mean, it's just, you got to bust balls.
Yeah, I didn't expect that one.
You didn't want your secret revealed. That's what it comes down to.
I was too old for Topanga even back then.
Hey, and it's funny that you guys bring them up, because they actually just did like a Comic-Con, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and Corey didn't show up, and oh boy, Topanga was mad.
I bet she was
on the Twitter, and she was letting it rip.
So she should be pissed. Why she got to carry the whole show again? But Pop Smokes, anything you want to ask? I got a whole slew of things we'll get into, but I don't want to steal the show here.
Sure. You were talking earlier, JJ, about your beginnings of watching wrestling on TV. How about live wrestling? I always judge wrestling, or I prefer to, by watching it live. How did you start going to live shows? What were they and such? And then just go on from there about live stuff, if you can.
Okay. Yeah, I've been to quite a few live shows, honestly. It all started with my very first live show was at WCW Thunder. My best friend growing up was Brandon, and I won't say his last name. You know how that is. But his uncle drove the WCW Thunder ring from place to place. So when they came to our hometown, we got to go see them. And Brandon knew I was like a huge Ric Flair, Four Horsemen fan. I was so into Diamond Dallas Page, like it was crazy. I was giving up the diamond cutter every chance I got in the halls and all that. We legit had friends who would give each other wrestling moves, not the big ones, but as you're walking down the hall, and then your books go flying because someone decided to give you a stone cold stunner in the middle of the, But so he took me there, and we actually got to go backstage and meet some of the wrestlers that we were like enthralled with as 12, 13-year-old boys who just loved wrestling. And I got to meet Benoit, and out of the group I met that day, he was the nicest human being on the planet. He answered every dumb fanboy question I had. And then Ric Flair, he was nice, but he's Ric Flair. He didn't really have time for a group of,
he's busy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, those guys were great. So I fell in love there at the live aspect of it. And then my mom and my stepdad, they really, wrestling was like the glue that kept our family together at certain times. When all things are going as families do, we always had a pay-per-view that we could throw on and watch, and we all loved it. I mean, everybody. My sister, if you talk to her, she remembers many times a lot. It was mostly the Goldberg and Bret Hart match, and I snatched her up and put her in the sharpshooter. And then Goldberg got a little aggressive and took Bret out. But anyways, so my sister, she could tell you that I did a lot of things. When I was doing my wrestling, backyard wrestling, there was a match I had because I loved hardcore. It was the best thing in the world. Raven, you're my flock leader. You always will be. But I was going up against a friend of mine, Sean, and his character was just as crazy as mine. And I was Johnny B. Bad, and I was the hardcore champion. And in this barn, we had a 20-foot lift where they had the hay, and they would throw the hay down and stuff like that.
Oh,
and we
boy.
Like, that is the spot where we do all the damage. So we built a table up and everything, and the whole spot was he was going to go on the table, I was going to go up on the loft, jump down, boom, go through the table, 1, 2, 3, end of the night. So throughout the day, he's amping it up more. It's like, we got some stuff that looks like barbed wire. Why don't we do some of that? And I'm like, yeah, sure, throw me on it. It'll be cool. So we do that. And then all of a sudden, I notice he has this bag off to the side, and it's nothing but thumbtacks. So he dumps the thumbtacks on the table, and he's like, throw me on the table. I'm like, sure. Throw him on some thumbtacks, climb up this thing, jump down. But I didn't realize in my head, because I'm 15 years old, testosterone's flowing. I think I'm entertaining 15 people in this barn. And I jump, and my knees and elbows go, hey, there's thumbtacks down here. And now they're in your knees and elbows. And before this, I got hit in the head with a stop sign, and I split this bandana hides a scar, and so does my hair, but I still have like a 3-inch scar from where that stop sign split my head. And we had an one of the friends was dating an EMS girl, and she's like, oh, you can just super glue that. So for the next 6 weeks, I had a big glob of super glue holding my scalp together, basically.
God damn it.
My friends looked at it and they were like, oh my God, that looks like bone. And I'm like, yeah, okay, let's seal this back and we won't talk about this. But I mean, that's why I loved going to live, because when you go to a live show, especially dark shows, you don't know what's going to really happen at the dark show. And my parents, like I was saying, my mom and my stepdad, they took us to a few shows, and then I dated a girl from Jackson, Mississippi, and she got me tickets to the Great American Bash when WWE had it. And that was the day that Batista came back, and he destroyed Mr. Kennedy and made him the bloody mess that I've ever seen in a WWE ring. So much so that they had to come and take off the top and replace it in between the show. And there was the Punjabi prison match at that show and everything.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, man.
That was my first pay-per-view.
For sure. If you don't mind holding the thought right there, I just want to stop for one quick moment, because our undisputed, undeniable YouTube chat champion of the world, winning it last week, just joined the house. Bobby,
Hey,
how are you doing? Glad to see you up in the air, and hopefully you're ready to defend that title in about another 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks there, my friend, because we're going to do another one of those trivia nights. Saying MLW is working with CMLL and NJPW.
Yeah.
Saw that news.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Court Bauer is going out there. He's making deals and handshakes all over the place. I'm happy. I think that's a fantastic alliance between those three companies, and a lot of great talent that can now be shared.
It's about time.
Yeah, really. And I mean, does this now, I got to get your guys' thoughts on this. Do you imagine that this maybe sees MLW in some way, shape, or form utilized at Wrestle Kingdom this coming year?
Oh, geez. I don't know. Is that how that works? I guess maybe they could do that, hey?
Essentially, that's what's up in the air, is that these three companies sharing talent and spotlighting the other companies, from what I've read of the deal. So, yeah, and I know there's another message coming in from Bobby with a little bit more on this, and I know I want to put this up here as soon as it clicks into StreamYard. There she goes. Rocky Romero is wrestling against Akira at MLW Slaughterhouse, and Rocky Romero I wanted to put up there because that's who helped kind of why he was one of the ones who spearheaded this conversation and allowed this merger or this, this working relationship to end up happening. And it sounds like it could be the sharing of talent. So it's not outside the realm of possibility that the Beaumaye Fight Club could find their way onto the Wrestle Kingdom this coming season. It's just, I mean, maybe not, but throwing it out there, it's a strong possibility, and I like that possibility.
Think of how that could be for MLW too, because they've had a deal before with that Dragon Gate, which brought us a couple of cool wrestlers for little tours at least, but NJPW, that's another level or two up from Dragon Gate. So now you're talking about some good talent. You remember they were going to get Will Ospreay for a bit, and then he never ended up showing up in any MLW matches. But if they could start getting that they have used Rocky Romero before, but if they could start getting the Ospreays and the some of those, some of those other top stars, I don't know if they would get the top guys, but even their middle tier guys would make quite a splash on MLW. That could just be great for viewers all around.
Yeah, it really could. What a great platform. And yeah, lots coming out. Maybe Daniel Yaxo could wrestle Julia from Stardom. She forever gets that name because of myself and Parrish on Busted Out. But yeah, a world of possibilities, and that's what we love about MLW or about smaller companies in general.
One more question about that. I didn't read the full article, but MLW had an agreement with AAA Lucha. That's who they've usually been working with as far as the Mexico side, isn't it? So is this a change from that now to CMLL?
I think in the same way that they changed from Dragon Gate to New Japan Pro Wrestling in that sense. I don't know that the door is ever closed to those other two companies. They've never said that there's like severed ties or anything, but it's just a bigger door being open and, a world of possibilities for all the talent involved kind of thing. And I think it's awesome. I think it's really awesome. So can't wait to see how it pans out. So yeah, looking forward to it, Bobby. Looking forward to Slaughterhouse. And for anybody who doesn't know, we do this little thing. It's called the Tailgate Watch Along Party here. It's a Video Bro Tailgate Watch Along Party when it comes to the big MLW shows. So on Saturday, October the 24th, Saturday, October the 14th, 1 week before Prairie Pro Wrestling's live again in Saskatoon, Papa Smokes, we're bringing back the tailgate party. What do you got for us? You've been thinking up the new food that Papa Smokes is going to be putting down that evening.
No, I haven't, but I'll get into it. I told you my buddy works at a fancy restaurant, and they got all kinds of stuff back there. I'll get him to whip me up something special.
Awesome. Josh, here we're going to throw this one to you. What should Papa Smokes and I be drinking on October the 14th during the tailgate watch along party?
Well, October, spooky season. Is ciders, hard ciders, a big thing up there?
They've got them here. I'm sure they got something here. Yeah,
I like a cider.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with a good cider.
I like that.
I like it.
My alcohol intake is more straight up like I got Maker's Mark over here. I got a wedding gift was one of those crystal whiskey cantina things.
Oh, yeah. Sweet. Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't even remember what I have in there, but I know I don't drink it a lot because I know what it does. So,
Chris Parrish saying
but I got a lot of whiskeys just sitting over here.
Whiskey's always good. I've still got a bottle uncracked that I'm letting age a little longer. Parrish saying Dickens cider is his favorite.
Oh. Okay. Right. I don't know the names of them because normally when I drink a cider, it's usually at like a festival.
Well, it could also be a completely different group of makers up here versus down south.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because we have a lot of our own distilleries and everything like that. Zeta Steel debuted against Tiara James on Fusion this evening. All right, cool. We'll have to get to that. And Kevin Black debuted on MLW Fusion against Alec Price and TJ Crawford in a triple threat match. I got to catch up on my Fusion, Bobby.
Yeah, me too.
Basser, I will touch base with you in the morning, sir. That shouldn't be a problem. Oh wait, we're talking. Yeah. Boom, you're out of there. So back to you, JJ. Seeing as we got a little off track.
Old Parrish.
Oh, that Parrish, I know he's trouble. You can't go wrong. You always have
He's a great
Parrish
human.
around. Yeah, he sure is. And we're not just saying that because he's listening in the chat.
No, I'd say that if he wasn't listening.
Yes, we would, because he can always hit rewind.
Yes, this is true.
But going back to your love for professional wrestling, your work in professional wrestling, and everything like that, you've gone to where you've been today. Mm-hmm. Aspiration-wise, where can you see yourself taking this, or where would you like to see yourself take it? Where's the next step for a moment with Joshua Joseph, or your participation as a commentator?
Well, right now, I just seen Terry's comment. That's a morning radio show from where we're from. It's dumb. But anyways, I would like to be on their show. I think that would be fun. But wrestling wise, I would love to, like I said previously, Madhouse is like one of my all-time indie destinations. I would also love to NWA. I would love to be there. That would be, to me, that would be my WrestleMania. To go there and just commentate, even if it's just an event or just a match. I think that would be a definitely check off my list. Podcast wise and everything, we're here In Your House. We're trying to take this as far as we can take it. We have a lot of people lined up. I can't drop names right now. I've been but there's some really cool talents that are getting ready to be a part of In Your House and become a part of the household. And I'm really excited about that. On my personal end, I'm in the process of talking to Harlan Williams, the comedian. Nice. I would love to speak to him because on my show, I just don't speak to wrestlers. I speak to a lot of people who interest me. And I feel like if they interest me, that there's a chance that they might interest somebody else. I mean, I've talked to Buff Bagwell. That was definitely a check off my list. And that right now is on our YouTube page. It's over 200. So I feel like I've done my work with that one. That was my goal, at least getting 200 views on it. Getting Buff's name back out there and seeing, if he's got the fan base that he used to have. He's got personal issues, but, he's also still somebody who entertained us for many nights, and I've talked to Raven. That ultimately was if I could have went back to Josh sitting in his room watching a Monday Night Nitro, listening to Korn, I would say, dude, you're going to get to talk to him one day. Just, yeah. If I could do it again, I would calm the hell down a little more because the whole time it was just, and plus he's so intimidating because I know so much about him. And I know that his intelligence level is that of, if you slack off while you're talking to him, he kind of dismisses you. Because in the interview, if you go back and you listen to it, I don't think I edited it out, but there's a question I ask him and you can hear him rustling through his mail. And then he stops and he goes, wait a minute. He goes, what? Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. I was looking at my mail. What did you just say? And then we went through there and that developed into, my most treasured bit of information I've ever received from a wrestler. And it was, why are you doing this move? Why are you doing this? Because if you don't know the why, then you're never going to present a clear picture to the people, absorbing the content you're putting out. And when he said that to me, man, it was the next 3 days, it was why, and it did put me into a little spot where I stopped, for a moment because I was trying to figure out the why. But then I interviewed a tag team, the Cousin Brothers of Destruction. And if anybody out there, if you're watching this and you want to check a little more out about me, even though I've interviewed Raven and Buff, go and listen to that episode, because that's like my Mona Lisa. That's my, like, it really is such a good, because we were so kayfabe through the whole thing that it was a goal for us to make each other laugh and break, and it just mounted, and it was fantastic. I love those two. Rip, R.I.P. You're a demon in the wrestling ring. And Chatty Nails with a Z. You have to say with a Z because that's how he spells it. It's going to be a sad day when you stop putting on those boots, buddy. It really is. But yeah, that I would go back and listen to that episode. It's a fantastic episode.
Awesome, man. Yeah, and I know what you mean. Like, it's tough when you get somebody on screen that you watch or admire. You know, it doesn't matter how much you try to prepare yourself. You get into it, and it's like, now I'm talking to them. And they are just like you and I and everything like that. Like, for the most part, like, they just want to sit and have a regular chat, and that's that's what Bob Smokes and I try to provide, is just like a chill place to just talk a little bit about your experience, your time, whatever, and just hang out, have some fun kind of thing. We don't want to treat it like hey, we're fanboying out or anything like that. But when we go into these things, we're nervous as hell. The nerves are shaken all the time, kind of thing, and it's something that you feel for sure. Ricky Shane Page to defend the National Openweight Championship against one called Manders at Slaughterhouse. Man, they've started slapping out the matches here for Slaughterhouse, because they also Delmy Exo is going to be defending against Becca in that featherweight championship matchup as well too. So watch out, it's Becca's world there, Delmy. Your title reign might be short-lived.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't explain it. Just Becca's great. That's all that matters.
That's all you need.
And we're gonna get an awesome, I'm sure, another song drop promo right before the pay-per-view. So
I would hope so.
It's great. Yeah. That was one of the best parts about the match with Makito, or thought, until they actually wrestled, and holy shit, they actually wrestled. Then it was good. It was one of my favorite matches of that night. So I'm looking forward to it. Keep going at it, Becca. And I don't know if you guys have seen on the socials, but her showing videos of her kicking people in the face. Oh man, can she kick a person in the face? She's great at it.
Yeah, she looks like she doesn't have a whole ton of experience before this, but is coming up quickly, like one of the people that kind of gets it close right off the bat. And I think that story of her wanting to become a pop star through wrestling kind of is, it's been done before, but if you get an enthusiastic wrestler to really get into that, really sink their teeth into that, like she's doing, it's hilarious, and the people are on board for it.
Yeah, and then back it up with actual wrestling, which helps. That's the other key to it as well. But yeah, Pop Smokes, anything else you want to go talk about?
No, I was just thinking about what Josh was saying about having some of those interviews that keep you thinking and keep you feeling long after they happened. And Munson, we've had a few of those too, from the hilarious, from Dr. Julius Smokes and all that, to a guy like Tristan Ty that was just so serious and so interesting and such a thoughtful man for such a young guy. It was just wild on a first meeting to get into a conversation like that and have him talk about, challenging yourself and being able to carry yourself and lift yourself higher and all this. It was that's such a great feeling. And I know that I listened to that interview, one of the most out of all the ones afterwards that we've done, because it was a rush. It was inspiring.
It really
was
awesome. Speaking of inspiring, I love this question, and especially for the ending of remark on it. So for someone who is new to your show, what is the history bringing this show together? Are you family? I was thinking father-son vibes. Papa Smokes, I never knew. But that's fantastic. I love that, Terry. No, how this worked for us, believe it or not, was when I got involved with High Impact Wrestling, and the plan was to go forth with producing a wrestling content show for YouTube. We needed a commentary team, and so they were putting me on the commentary team, and they originally gave me another guy to work with, and our schedules were not lining up. It just wasn't going to happen. He didn't want to record at his place. I didn't really have a place to go record. It was a mess. Really, it just wasn't going to work out for the two of us doing it. So then the boys come back to me and they're like, "We've got a guy. I think you'll get along with him. Give him a shout. Here's his number." So, okay, they give me a number, ring him up. "Hey, dude, got told we're doing commentary." "Yep. Okay, coming over to your place." "Okay, sounds good." So I bring my really old laptop at the time and this really shitty headset with a like half broken microphone on it. That's all I owned at this current time.
It was like an Xbox headset kind
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
It was literally like this thing, only crappier and more broken. And so we had the content already recorded to go commentate, and we were told, like, we need this out by this date because we had Cody Rhodes coming into town, and we had to be prepared to have these shows flowing into the Cody Rhodes event and be prepared ourselves to call a fucking Cody Rhodes match with little to no experience. And it's like, shit, we don't even know each other at this point. So I go over there and we sit down. It's like, "So what do you go by?" "I'm Papa Smokes." "Okay, I'm Bobby Munson." "All right, let's rock and roll." And we just hit the ground running with these things. And our first sets of commentary are they're nothing to be going, "Wow, those guys had something." Because I go back now and I'm proud of what we've done, but we were not good at what we were doing at that time. It took a long time to get used to it. But through that, we started. I already had a bit of a podcast going on that I called Rob's Rockin' Wrestling at the time. Changed that to Ring Respect Radio. I had Papa Smokes on as a guest, and from there we just started flowing with some ideas that we were going to do some Ring Respect Retro, where we go back, watch some old stuff, or do commentary over classic stuff. And then Ring Respect just kind of developed from there, becoming a partnership in, I think that was 2020 when everything got shut down and we started doing the Zoom. It wasn't even Zoom at first. We couldn't even figure out Zoom. So what we had was me on screen with my phone and Papa Smokes on the line on the phone with this poorly recorded audio through that. And that's how we started the first idea of us on screen together. And then when we ended up going over to Love Wrestling for a little while, we developed what we called Major Love Wrestling, which was our MLW review show over on that channel for a little while. And the idea of being on screen using StreamYard and doing streams such as this kind of came about. And from that, we've kind of developed it into this regular Thursday night podcast that we do, whether we're talking classic wrestling, interviewing various guests like JJ, and we've had wrestlers throughout the years and stuff too. And just general fun. Like we do our pub trivia night that just wrapped last week. We're going to be doing that again in a few more weeks as well too. We kind of have a Twitch versus YouTube thing going on. It's all about beers, fun, laughs, and all those kind of wonderful things. What's Parrish got now for us? I heard Papa Smokes wasn't the original. We're not getting into the original Papa Smokes name. Not breaking kayfabe, Parrish. Sit down, son.
And speaking on that, the trivia, Terry, if you join that, I guarantee you'll have a blast doing that, participating. Terry, he's got a mind of knowledge when it comes to wrestling.
Awesome, bring it on.
You're gonna want to smack him, but I'll do that for you. Don't worry.
He'll fit right in.
That's right. Yeah, no, it's a blast. I mean, it's been a hit for something that again was never a really thought out, planned idea. It was I stumbled upon this old school wrestling trivia one day. Like, I'm going to ask these questions to Papa Smokes next Thursday, and so I just told him, "Hey, I'm quizzing you on some old school wrestling on Thursday." "Okay, sounds good." And then, like, I think a day later, I texted him, like, "I think we should get the crowd to participate too, just for the sake of getting everybody involved." "Sounds good." And that's how it developed. From there, it was just like, okay, what the fuck do we know about wrestling? And that became the name of the show. We're running it once a month, and it's a success. People are loving it. So
no, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Papa, ever heard the sort of looks? Has Papa ever heard? He sort of looks like Jake the Snake Roberts. Jake the Snake with a Jesse the Body at vocals. Man, you're killing it,
I'm
Papa.
doing good tonight.
You're like almost the ultimate wrestler.
Yeah.
I feel like I should go downtown and get an 8-ball or something right now.
Whoa, Papa Smokes. You don't have to dive deep into the character. Just base level, buddy.
I must.
Oh man, did not expect that from you tonight, Papa Smokes. That was funny. I think the whole audience is laughing now. You got Terry laughing.
Yeah, you got Terry laughing.
That's why we're on late night, so we can squeeze every once in a while on something like that. And that's why Jake was always out late night. Hey, let's move on from there. But yeah, anything else we want? Like audience, I'm going to turn it to the audience. In the meantime, Papa Smokes, anything else you want to add? But audience, if you got questions for our guest here, let us know.
Yeah, I'm an open book.
Yeah, no, this has been really fun. Oh boy, we got a question here.
It's not a question, it's a parish.
It's a parish.
He's just frantically typing somewhere.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's got Twitch and YouTube going simultaneously, trying to take care of business. I know, multitasker.
Alexa, troll the YouTube show.
No problem, boss. Gotcha. Oh, Bobby's coming in with a question, guys. Wants to know who would like to see wrestle at MLW that isn't currently wrestling in MLW. Josh, you're the guest.
Well, I'm gonna just go out on a limb and what we talked about earlier with MLW joining up with the other promotions. I think this actually puts MLW at number 3 for big promotions. I mean, and that's just me. I mean, but with that, to me, that could bring in guys like Mustafa Ali.
Yep.
He's already said he's open for bookings. And if you put a guy like that there, I'm just saying, more people, that's going to bring in more eyes that are fans of just him. And then now you're going into, okay, so now our roster gets seen by more people. And honestly, to me, Mustafa would be a wise choice. He just, I don't know, he kind of has a just MLW presence about him. I don't know. It might just be me, but I did, like with that last promo pic he released with saying his bookings are open. I don't know. To me, that screamed MLW.
Yeah, I love that pick. I really do. For me, and I've said it before, and I know not everybody in the chat's going to know who this is in particular, but Pop Smokes and I are very familiar with the one Sean Moore from here in Western Canada. Grace the PPW ring. Sean Moore is one of the best unsigned talents in the world. Everywhere he travels, everywhere he goes, he comes out looking like a top guy. He wrestles like a top guy. He's got charisma. He's got every tool you need to make it in professional wrestling. He's still young, and he's going to make it in professional wrestling. I guarantee that is a name that won't be unheard of for very much longer.
That's awesome.
I think you're safe in that guarantee, Munson, because he, like I've said during commentary, he's right on the brink, and it's just so exciting to see him right now and to just know him a little bit, to say that, yeah, that guy's going to at least be on Impact or MLW or something like that. He's already had matches as enhancement talent with AEW. He's attended WWE shows. They let some of the boys come and check out the back and check out the whole production. He's just about there, and it's an exciting time.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
so
really
that would
cool.
definitely be our pick. So yeah. But yeah, if anybody who hasn't, check out Sean Moore. Doesn't matter what capacity, whether it be Prairie Pro Wrestling. I'm pretty sure that is he not working the Love Wrestling show? Parrish, you could probably confirm that in the chat. I think Sean Moore might be in the Scramble Challenge or something tomorrow night on Love Wrestling. And if you go over to Love Wrestling on Twitch, you can watch that live. Our boy El Assassino, of course, is going to be there. He's going to be, I believe he's ready to slap some sense into Jared Rogers tomorrow night there live on Twitch. Jared's going to be in a World of Hurt. And then, of course, our champion, Sheik Akbar Shabazz, and his tag team partner, Barak Garani, they're going to be looking to stomp a few people down in their way as well too. So that taking place, you can go check that out over Love Wrestling's Twitch channel live. I believe they kick off at what would it be, about 7 p.m. our time, so probably about 9 Eastern, somewhere in there. So you go and follow that along, you'll be able to check that out. Terry saying, I'm going to be going to the Survivor Series in Chicago. I wonder if I can book Ali to eat lunch with me since it's his hometown. Not sure if he would take it serious if I would inquire. Hey, if you got money.
I'll tell you that. Yep. Terry, I'll tell you this. Those professionals, if you got the money, they will show up. So just
tell them you got a podcast.
Yeah.
You got a podcast, sit down with a computer and just record.
Yeah, exactly, Terry. Why don't you do this stuff instead of trolling people, buddy?
Now you've been told, Terry. Watch out. Oh man. But yeah, I don't have any other things to go over, gentlemen. If you guys want any last minute things before we wrap the show up here tonight.
I wanted to ask you two a question.
Yeah. Shoot.
Okay, since I know you guys are MLW guys and you guys know a little bit about them, with the Fatu family.
Yes.
Okay. Are you guys seeing them possibly leaving MLW?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Have you seen the theory being thrown around that the two should go to Monday Night Raw and team up with Jay, and then you could have your Survivor Series match between the Bloodline and the New Bloodline?
There's always that possibility. I mean, WWE's got money to throw around for days.
Exactly.
There's no kidding there. I think where the problem with Jacob has always been was just his past, but it seems like they've been able to get around that for a few other people as of late. So there's, sky's the limit. I could see it happening. When we sat down and interviewed Joseph Samael, he very well flat out said, and I mean, we're talking about a guy who's a good friend of Jacob Fatu. He said the contract with MLW is coming to an end soon, and there's already conversations happening with Fatu and his future, and it's going to be big. So he couldn't tell us what exactly, but when you hear big, your mind immediately goes to it has to be somebody on TV. You're thinking it's got to be either AEW or WWE at this point, especially with where Fatu is in his career. I don't see big for him moving over to Impact. That's not a knock at Impact, but I don't see that trade from one to the other being a massive jump like Samael was alluding to personally.
Gotcha.
So that's why I'm thinking that. And I'm thinking with that connection with the McMahon family and the history in the WWE, it would make a lot of sense for them to go that direction. How about you, Pop Smokes?
Yeah, I think that's a fine prognostication there. And that's the thing about Jacob Fatu is he is such a real savage heel kind of character that there aren't very many that take that road these days. And I think, talking about the bloodline and all that, Solo Sikoa kind of approaches that, but Fatu is another story altogether. And he would be he's more like an Umaga style. That's his uncle or his great whatever relative as well. But Fatu would be awesome there. I don't know what the situation is. Yeah, like you said, Munson, I've always heard that it was his record, criminal record or whatever that has been holding him back from getting signed to major companies. But I don't know what the legal logistics of it is, or if WWE would think of bringing him in for a run, like you suggested, a pay-per-view or two and an angle, involving the bloodline or whatever it would happen to be. I think anything's possible.
Yeah, and we know Lance has actually been back there before, so there's always that chance. And Lance has actually pushed away and gone to Japan and been working all around the world at the moment. So that's a possibility too. And then, you start looking at the younger brothers like Zila, for example. Zila's starting to make a name or starting to get heard of already kind of thing. Does Zila bypass, say, an MLW and go straight with brother Jacob to something bigger like WWE? Would they trust that as well too? Jacob Fatu's ready for that stage. I don't know that Zila is. I haven't really seen a lot of Zila's work personally to be able to judge on that just yet. I think he probably use some more years in the independents or something, but who knows if he goes to NXT. But to put him in the story with the bloodline, I don't know. Lance and Jacob Fatu, on the other hand, I think you could pull them into the dub today, into the bloodline storyline and make it work, personally.
Well, I mean, we are only in the bottom of the third.
Oh,
So.
we've been in jeez, that many innings left to go. There on
Heyman
the
knows
bloodline,
how
hey?
to milk it dry.
My
He is
God.
such a genius. I love that man.
Yeah.
I just want to grab his bald head and shake it sometimes like a magic 8-ball. See what shows up in his eyeballs.
Yeah, just let the champ go sit home for a few more months. He knows how to let his champs have a vacation. Hey, like, I mean, whether it be Brock or Roman, he's just like, you've done enough. Just, I got this for a bit. We'll go create some other crazy shit on the show for a while, and you just take a chill pill. You're good, champ.
He's a great manager.
A champion of a big company should be aloof. I think he shouldn't be wrestling all the time. You notice MJF's been trying to get that going about this. Yeah, I'm never gonna be wrestling on TV, so don't expect to see me and all that. There's an aloofness that goes with that. The champion's above all those other guys working on the show all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
Bear saying he'd love to see Jimmy and Solo leave Roman, join Jay, and have those guys join Roman instead. That's a possibility as well too. You know, it's very well perfect. Parrish, I just saw the comment, the DM that you sent. Yes, 100%, brother. We can do that. Do that right now. Let me know when it's done. And speaking of videos, you know, I almost forgot this before. Like, we got a couple more things we're going to show you guys before we wrap things up. But Josh, you sent a video over to watch of kind of a reel of some of your work. So I want to get that up on screen here for everybody to check out right now. See if I can get that working here for us. All right. Everyone can see that, I'm sure now, that screen.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. All right, let's go. Or not. Come on, Bob's computer. What are you doing here? Killing me. All right. Well, yeah, let's hold off there for a second. Hold on, guys. I apologize. We will try and get that malfunction going here.
Just don't put your search history up there, Munson.
My search history is as boring as my life sometimes, Papa Smokes.
It's like how to dispose of a body and some shit like that.
What do you take me for here, brother? Jesus.
You're the Garth Brooks of Canada, man.
Have
you ever heard that theory?
No, I have not heard that theory.
Garth Brooks. You guys remember when he did back in the 90s, he did his emo album, Chris Gaines?
Yeah.
I recall.
So there's a theory that alter ego was his alter ego that he went around murking people at his concerts. So they said Garth Brooks is Tom Segura, the comedian. He has a whole thing about it, and his fans troll Garth Brooks. I will admit, Garth, if you're listening to this, because I know you're following me, I am Killjoy. I am the one who trolls you, and that you block all the time, but unblock me all the time too. So I'm always in your chats. And this is, yes, the country star, Garth Brooks. That is one of my favorite pastimes is trolling him. I believe he's dead inside, but you know, that'll all come out when me and him meet and talk.
There you go. All right, I think I might got.
Yeah, I'm a weirdo.
that's fine. You're in the right place then. All right, let's just see here. I think we got this going. Hopefully.
Yeah.
That's the video for you guys there. But fantastic. No audio. I get that now. I apologize. So no audio there. I don't know how to fix that, and it's getting kind of late in the night, so I do apologize, Josh. We didn't get the audio in.
Oh, no worries.
But if you guys want to check that out, that would be in full by checking out In Your House, HOWSE. So go follow them on Twitch. You guys are on YouTube as well, too, I'm presuming.
Yes, we are.
Yes. Okay. Twitch and YouTube. Go check, follow, like, subscribe, do all those wonderful things. And Barry Monkey, always late to the party, but glad to see you, my friend, because I know you got to be like good 6-7 hours difference from us. So you're a trooper. No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. Goldfinger is a classic, Barry. Absolutely love that movie. Yeah. But yes, before we go any further there, I just also want to say that Busting Out, obviously, is a show that I am a part of with Chris Parrish. At the moment, Chris Parrish has been taking a little bit of a break away from shows and taking care of some business, but that's okay because you know what? I have to take a little bit of a break. Not this coming Sunday. I'm going to be back with Ed Fries this Sunday on Busting Out, but the Sunday following, I'm not going to be around, so unfortunately, I will not be on Busting Out that day. But we have a couple people stepping in, and I'm just going to play a quick breaking news video for you to let you know who's going to be hosting Busting Out a week from this Sunday.
And I can see you getting out and shaking your body. Welcome to the party with a nuts hang. It's just a rap thing.
So Parrish is going to make his way back onto screen there to fill in while I'm away, and he's going to be bringing Tom Collahue with him, so you know that's going to be a kick-ass show. Tom Collahue, great friend of the channel, great human beings, taught me a lot of things, and very proud to be able to have him over and over again joining us in various capacities here at our local establishment, especially on Busting Out, which I now believe this is about his 4th appearance, and then he's done that. There was the mock draft that him and Ed and Parrish did as well, too, so we've had the pleasure of having Tom Collahue, who does Spoiler Warning and a Friday Night SmackDown watch along. He's got all the inside info if you want anything from behind the scenes of the WWE. He is the guy to talk to, and you know it's going to be a fun time with him and Parrish on screen in a couple of weeks. I'm late as watching Impact do another great show. I'm pretty sure Tommy Dreamer's belt broke during his match as he seemed to spend the rest of it holding his trousers up with one hand. I gotta start watching more Impact.
And Bully Ray's gonna have a field day on Busted Out with that one.
And Parrish saying whenever JJ stops Big League in him, then he'll get him on Busting Out with him. Apparently, got to stop Big League and
I guess
my boy
so.
Parrish there, buddy.
I don't know how I am, but sure, I will stop, Parrish. I promise.
All right. We're gonna have to make that happen, but. That's pretty much going to wrap it up here, guys. I am going to go ahead and start looking towards our raids. But Josh, I only had those I could find for you. I didn't know if you wanted your Facebook up there too. But let people know if you got any other socials outside of X and Twitch there. Let them know where they can find you, what you got coming up there as well too.
Well, you can find me on Facebook. It's Joshua Joseph, the voice. You can also find me in Your House. That is where I spend a majority of my content time. This Saturday, I will be streaming the No Mercy. So stop in the chat for that fun. I just want to say thank you too for giving me this opportunity.
Oh, thank you.
To come on here and be a part of the fun, that even more so than what I normally am in a chat. And I do appreciate all the stuff you guys put out and the content you guys do, the fun you bring to my Thursdays. I truly do appreciate those times. And I really hope more of these things happen with creators and being on each other's shows and building the community out further, because I mean, there's tons of things out there that we could all be a part of, different communities and everything. So, hit me up out there. I'm doing things. In Your House, check us out. We are moving.
Hell yeah.
And there's things, and Like that clip was saying, if you seen it, if you go to the In Your House Team IYH Twitch channel, it's a clip, and it's pretty much Paragon talking. I wanted to highlight how he thinks, and that is one of the best ones. That is one of the best ones to sit and listen to for a clip of Paragon and his mentality.
Fair saying the first word in Ole is the most important, and that's our. Terry saying he'll be there for the No Mercy for the hijinks. You can count on it.
Can't wait, Terry.
All right, Pop Smokes. Why don't you let the wonderful people know where they can find Pop Smokes hanging around before next Thursday night?
Okay, Munson, do you have my ticker going?
The ticker's there. The special
right.
Pop Smokes ticker's going.
Now I see it. Now my anxiety is laid to rest just a little bit. No, I can always be found at Elon Musk's free speech wonderland, also known as X, at smokes_papa, and I'm on Twitch at papa_smokes_.
Yeah, that's where you can find Papa Smokes. You can also find him every single Saturday with myself, Bobby Munson, as your commentary team at Prairie Pro Wrestling. You can find us over on the YouTube side of things. In the meantime, and in between time, you can reach out to myself down below. That is where you'll find me all across the socials, including threads and all those wonderful things. You can reach out to me. Let's chat. Let's talk some wrestling. Let's talk whatever pop culture type things you enjoy. I love chatting with all of you, the fans. Always have a wonderful time. So reach out to us. Make sure you check it out. Our local establishment on all social media, as well as Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, all those wonderful things. Go and support all the great creators, including our friend Josh Joseph and everybody else that's out there pushing to make the greatest content that they can for each and every one of you. Want to thank you, Josh, for joining us here. You are welcome back to Ring Respect Radio anytime. It has been an absolute honor, my friend.
Thank you.
Very happy to have you. Terry throwing in the Bobby Hill and propane accessories dig. I love it. So the WWE is getting $1.4 billion in the new SmackDown deal. That is for another show at another time, Parrish, because we are already off the air. If you're on Twitch, you are already over to our good friend Heel Kevin. Make sure you go and check out his show. He does wonderful content. For myself, for Pop Spokes, for Josh Joseph, the voice, we're out, and we will see you next Thursday night. Take care, everybody.